Good morning, grade 5. I hope you're having a super day today. Sorry for the noise in the background. We are getting the school ready for your return, and so there's a lot of activity going on at the school. Mr. G and I are so excited for you to come back next week. What we are doing today is going to link into next week. So today is the beginning of our project, and next week we will try and finish it. So we are going to be drawing in pencil. So we're going to pretend that this red marker is my pencil. It just makes this easier for you to see. And we have drawn this little design. Today, all we would like you to do, please, is to do a design. We are learning about wax resist. So this is a technique. And I'm going to show you an example after I've explained what you're doing today. So, as you can see, we've used big shapes. This boundary over here is our paper. So we're going to fill up the whole paper with our design. I would like it to be something that, not just squiggles and lines, but actual design like a person or a fish or something that you like. So it has to be something like not just squiggles, lines, and we're done. I would like you to think about it, plan it properly. As you know, you cannot rub out crayon. So we are going to be doing this in crayon and in candle. We're going to be using candle wax to draw. When we do our final piece, we won't be able to rub it out, which is why we are doing our design today. We are planning today. When you come back to school, please remember to bring your picture to school so that we can copy it onto another piece of paper. And for now, that's, I think, everything. Just remember, fill up your paper. If there's some little spaces like we've got here, you can add in little designs, little shapes to make it a little bit more interesting. Otherwise, it's just going to be one thing in the middle and then there's going to be nothing around it. So add in little designs and shapes. Make them quite big, not too small. Otherwise, you won't be able to see it properly when we do the wax resist. See our lines, we've made them into shapes. This is more of a design than in like a real life. This doesn't look like a real person. But yes, I'm now going to show you the wax resist, so we'll move on to it now in the video. When you are doing this, you cannot rub out anything. So I've done a quick little video just to show you as an example. And I've made these nice and thick and big just so you can see the difference between the candle wax and the crayon wax. We are going to be using both in class. And now I've got the sponge with a little bit of paint on it, and I am just going to go over the head so you can see what happens with the paint. Okay, my sponge is wet. Remember, we always wet our sponges before we use them. And I'm just going to go one line across so you can see. Pretty cool. So we're going to do this the whole way and see how it looks with the crayon. It doesn't have to be perfect. Wax resist we usually use as a background or when we're doing watercolor. But this is a very nice exercise to see how the different things work. And my paint sponge is a little dry now, but this is a very good exercise to see how the different things work together. Okay, so if I was to come here and let me just wet my sponge a bit more. Sorry boys, 10 seconds. So let's go down to the bottom and see what it looks like with the orange. Look at that. The paint slides off of the wax and you can see our picture coming to life now. Okay, so this is what we would like you to do. Plan it out, don't rush it. I rushed mine a little bit just to show you how it works. But as you can see, when the water comes off of the wax, it leaves the drawing. It's kind of a little bit magical actually, it's very cool. And if you have excess paint on it, you can obviously just dab it with something. So yeah, there we go. this little guy has to dry now. The paint's going to come off of him, and then I will show you how to do it with watercolors in a time lapse. We in grade 5 are not going to use watercolors, but it is quite cool to see. So I will show you a little example just now. Okay boys, so we have done our little man. As you can see his little face over here. This is our practice one to practice drawing, and then we can go on to draw our actual one. Alright, so we've done that now. Now I really want to show you the watercolor one, so I've done a little time lapse for you. Once we've watched through the time lapse, I will close off, and then you can get started on drawing your design. You don't have to copy mine. Come up with your own. A fish would be quite cool if you did a fish and then you did the scales, different colors. That might be quite nice. Just think of more ideas and enjoy the watercolor video. So before I show you the watercolor video, the little time lapse, I just wanted to show you a really beautiful example. So today we are just doing the basics. We are just getting our shapes right and our wax drawing right and learning how to do it. And we have found this really cool example from before of this beautiful watercolor painting, and you can see on the roof where, I don't know if you can see, okay, on the roof here, these lines are all done in wax. This over here in the window is also wax, and over here the artist has used wax in order to keep those areas white. It's really clever, it's a very good idea. Maybe we want to do something like this for art club one day, but this is just a beautiful, beautiful example of how wax resist can be used. And so now let's go into the time-lapse video, just see how it looks when you do it with watercolor, and then we'll move on. Okay, for this watercolor video I did a lot of little squiggles and stuff, but what is quite cool about this is that you can see the nice little lines in it, and this can be used as a background now. So you could use this as a background for if I'm doing something in cool colors and I want the background just to be a little bit like interesting and textured, because it does add quite a bit of texture to something. We can do it like this, and then you can actually do a whole painting in, so like we've done with our little man, in watercolor you can actually do like all the outlines in the wax and then paint over it, and it looks very, very beautiful, like the spider one that I've shown you in the examples. So have a look at those examples that I've shown you. We are going to be using poster paint. Mr. G and I are going to be cutting some proper painting paper for you. Please remember on the back of your piece to write down the colors that you would like to use, so that we can be prepared for when you come back and that you know what you want. Okay, so draw your little design today. You do not have to hand it in, but please bring it to class when you come back to school. Thank you so much, boys, and have a wonderful day.